So I figured it's time I make another tutorial. Another quick, fun tutorial. Something easy. So I want to show you guys how to make a tileable texture in Adobe Substance Painter. But first we got to talk about textures. And I'm going to put graphics up here. In my large collection of tutorial videos describing the general workflow of making something, I mentioned that the type of textures that we are making with like the knife tutorial is a bespoke texture, like a bespoke suit. It was made for that object. And if it is applied to another object, probably not going to work. So there's two different kinds of tileable textures. And there are tileable textures, which can repeat infinitely in each direction. And there are trim sheets, which are kind of the same thing as tileable textures, but they only repeat in one direction. So you have to think about, well, what am I using this texture for? And Substance Painter isn't the go-to to making textures made for environments like you would use tileable textures on. But there is a way to make it. So if you only have Substance Painter, it's not a problem. It's not an issue. So we're going to go up to here. We're going to open sample. Then it's going to open the sample projects folder that's already installed when you install Substance Painter. I'm going to go to tiling material, the very bottom here. And as we open it, we get a plane with a lot of elevation. And I'm going to turn this off because this, I don't know, Substance Painter liked showing off that you can do this stuff, which is, it's not parallax occlusion mapping. It is, oh my God, what's the word? For some reason, tessellation is coming in. I don't think that's right. Whatever. Moving on. I'm going to show you something up here. So we're going to change our view, go to 3D and 2D. I'm going to show you the split screen. I'm going to get rid of that. Move this aside. Move it to the other screen. Flatten this down so I get a nice big view of what's going on. Off the bat, we can see that there's a lot more bumps and valleys in the 3D view than there is the 2D view. That's because this is already tiling. This is already... Now I need to go to a specific tool. So I'm going to put this back. I'm going to get rid of this layer. Make a new one, actually. I'm going to go here, polygon fill, so we can see all the polygons. And we're looking at the plane. All the polygons that are making up this plane. And there's these borders here. That's the border of the texture. You can see since I clicked on it, we have all these squares showing us what our texture is going to look like repeating. So it's pretty nifty, pretty helpful. So if I were to adjust like here and here, doesn't matter where I click, it's going to tile and repeat infinitely because it's only doing the same squares that I'm clicking on right here. All right, let's get rid of that. I want to get rid of the bumps because since I am going to just show you how to make a tileable texture, I don't want to have to worry about complex stuff like it is tessellation, isn't it? Displacement, that's the word. This is displacement. I'm going to turn it off. And now we have that normal detail, but none of that tessellation and displacement. All right, I'm going to get rid of everything. Hit delete. So I have a nice blank plane. And I was thinking, well, what do I want to make that is easy and simple to understand as a tileable texture? And I came up with it. I'm going to make tiles. I'm going to make white tiles. So right now, we are going to be working with fill layers. So I'm just going to make a fill layer. I'm going to name this one Tile Base. Okay. Let's go down to the properties. I want to mess with the roughness. I don't want to mess with height. We will get to height. And we don't need any normal or metalness. There's no metal in tiles. Tiles are ceramic. I don't know if you remember in the other videos or if you've seen them. But we don't want anything pure white. We don't want anything pure black. We want something almost there. Or something almost there. Don't want pure white or black. So I'm going to start with here. That's going to be the base color. Mess with the roughness. I don't want it reflecting so much light. All right, I'm going to make a new layer, new fill layer. I'm going to right click, add black mask, add a fill to the black mask. This grayscale, I'm going to look for a marbling. This one's probably easiest to see. So I'm going to hit that. And I want to show you something that you need to think about while you are making tileable textures. So I can see the repetition. There are details in every noise map that you look at. There's going to be a detail that you are going to see repeated because we have pattern-seeking behavior in the human brain. Just something to keep in mind when you are making this. There are ways in Engine to get rid of that repeating look, but that is way down the line. Maybe I'll talk about that someday. I still need to research it, but it's called UV nuking. No, not UV, normal nuking. No, one sec. Normal nuking. Why am I thinking? No. Texture bombing. That's it. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, I am going to refer to you to look up texture bombing. And I'll put it up here on the screen somewhere. Maybe I'll make a video on that. But I need to figure out how to do that. And make textures for it anyway. So now we have this new fill layer. And I'm going to keep the color where it is because I like how it looks. like how it looks so far, yeah. But if you remember what I said before, the key to making something look very interesting with PBR materials is variation in the roughness. So I'm going to make these just a little bit more smooth appearing. Maybe they should be rougher. Yeah, I think that looks good. Okay, I'm going to make this one named Marbling. I'm going to mess with the color just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to make another fill layer. Add a black mask, like usual. Add a fill. That's a paint. Misclick. There we go. I still have marble selected. I'm going to grab another marbling color. Something similar. I'm just going to grab this same one and I'm going to mess with the parameters that it gives us. Invert it. No. No, I got an idea. This might be interesting. I'm going to invert it. I'm going to add, what is it? A filter. Where is it? Or is it something else? Right click, levels. I want to add levels. I'm going to alt left click on it so I see the map. Okay. I want it to bleed in just a little bit, and then I'm gonna, let's see what that looks like without it. Okay, I like it. I'm gonna add a filter, and I'm gonna add a blur to it. Totally blur it to heck. Left click on the material so I can see the material again. I'm gonna add a roughness variation to it. I need it inverted, don't I? Which I can do in the levels, so I'm going to invert it. What does this one look like? Okay. All right. I want something a little bit to add some grain to this. I'm going to add another fill. Get rid of the search for marble. Just put in noise. Let's try this dirt 3. Change this to multiply, maybe? No, not multiply. Divide. No, not divide. I can never really remember what any of these do. That's interesting. Let's mess with this. go to this one and add another fill layer. I'm going to get rid of color. I'm just going to make this one roughness. I call it rough variation. Black mask like usual. Add a fill to the black mask. I want to use one of the cloud ones because those are usually pretty smooth transitions. Clouds 3 maybe. Let's add another filter to it. Make it a blur. Blur it to hell. Okay, so now the cracks in the marbling look a little bit more interesting. But the insides, not so much. Which I believe is this one. So I'm going to duplicate it. No, I just need to add another filter on top of it. No. I'm going to do something. I'm going to add an anchor point. Yeah. Then I'm going to add a new fill. Black mask. Add a fill. And then in here, there's an anchor point. I can select that anchor point. So it's copying the mask. But I want to add another fill. Let's do black and gray. Well, clouds 3. Something like that again. Some roughness variation. Get a little bit whiter. Now it looks like it's just covering up the cracks. So I want to change the blend mode. See which one looks good. Difference? No, I don't like that. I don't think I like that. I think that'll do. Let's look at the material. Okay. Let's see if I darken this. Does that help? Maybe if I darken this one as well. Nope. Let's look at that mask. I believe if I mess with the anchor, yeah. So when you're using anchor points, which I should explain. Well, I just showed you, but I should explain it. What an anchor point is, it's like, it's telling the program, hey, there's this information that I want to use in another layer. So you're going to put an anchor point there, and it's going to reference to that anchor point. So if I were to change this information, this one's mask, which is using that anchor point, is going to be affected. So I don't really want to mess with it. I'll keep it like that. That's pretty interesting. Mess with the colors a little bit more. There we go. All right. I'm going to grab all of these and I'm going to put them in a folder. I'm going to call it marble. Now I wanted to show tiles, so I'm going to close that, make a new layer, and call this one grout. Let's make a black mask, add a fill, and there are, it's easier to see in here, so I'm going to look in here for it. We have like a brick texture, we have a brick generator, circles, plenty of fabrics. I want to say there's a tiled version somewhere. Oh. These are close to tiles. And that brick texture and that brick generator would work as well. Here it is, tile generator. Ooh la la. So I'm going to put that in the grayscale of the fill layer. Let's look at it. So right now, if we are thinking about what we're doing, the grout is the darker, grainier mess. It's the sticky stuff, I guess, that you put tiles onto. So I don't want it to be affecting the tiles itself, because remember, black is 0, white is 1, black is off, white is on. So what this is showing me right now is this white is what it's going to be affecting, and this black is what it's not going to be affecting, which we can see a little bit more clearly. It's affecting the tiles themselves, which I don't want to affect right now. So let's fix that. Very simple. Add a level, invert it. Now it's affecting the grout that I wanted to. We have another issue. These tiles are going to be really fucking small. Right? Because when you are making a tileable texture, you want it to be extending to infinity. And the best way to get it, a lot of detail in it, and it being optimized, is, well, one, texture size itself. That's how you get highly optimized games, texture sizes. But when we're talking about tileable textures, we don't need a large texture for tileable textures, especially with what I'm showing you. We can very easily go into the tile generator And I want to, I think, is it these? Yeah. Put down this, like, maybe 5. Strip 5 and 5. 4 and 4. Yeah, 3 and 3. Yeah. So there's only 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 9. I did math wrong. So there's only 9 tiles that I really have to worry about. And then those tiles are going to repeat infinitely. Right? So let's change this from that ugly red to an ugly dark gray color. Maybe with a little bit of brown in it. So, with the way this works, it's meant for the tiles themselves. So this is going to look weird if I just go into the height. Bring it all the way down. Right, it looks like the grout is coming out and on top of the tiles. So I want to go into levels again. I'm going to look at the mask itself. I just want to pinch this down until it's not like that. All right, let's look at that. Still looking ridiculous. Okay. Okay. It's the black point. It's not terrible. Not terrible. Mess with the light. Look at that roughness. Eh, not terrible. I wish these were sharp. I wish I could do that. Could probably do that in the tile generator at some point. Before I can get rid of this. Yeah, there's that. Position. Parameters in the fucking tile generator that I can use without that levels. I'm an idiot. Anyway. I would love if you had a parameter on square expansion. Let's check that off. Nothing happens. You can go down to 2 and 2, I think. I think 2 and 2 would be nicer. I want this to be sharper, so I'm going to keep messing around with this. Whoa. Okay. Disk. Why would it do that? Oh, pyramid works. There we go. There we go. There we go. Now we've got tiles. Now we have like a marble tile floor. But if you know me, I'm going to want a little bit more. Because I always want more. So I'm going to add another fill. That is not black mask. Fill. I'm going to make it. I'm going to put an anchor point here. Anchor point. Grout mask. Hell yeah. Grout, 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 grout. Grout mask. Using anchor points again. I don't want to use any color information. I just want to use height information. And then I'm going to add another fill. I'm going to use that dirt from earlier. Dirt. What was it? Dirt 3? What dirt 5? 3. Multiply. There we go. So what I'm doing is I am making it only in the grout lines. Then I'm going to tile it in here. Here's something I wanted to talk about. Tileable textures are finicky. They have to be done right. The edges of the texture have to match the opposite sides of each other. And that's like every pixel. So if I have white pixels on the top of a texture and black pixels on the bottom of the texture, chances are they're not really going to tile correctly. We're going to see a seam. We're going to see this, like right here. There is a visible seam. And the reason why this is happening is because I am tiling it by 3.22 instead of 3. Because when I make it tiled by 3, I can't see a line. I don't see anything going on in there. File F 3.5. Yeah, that one's harder to see. 3.22 was easiest. So when you're making your tileable textures, make sure to look at the details, even though this is a minuscule detail. But I care. So I'm going to tile it by 3. Yeah, tile it by 3. Gonna look at the material. I'm going to go into the height. I'm going to go back into the parameters, and I want to mess with all this stuff. The contrast is just getting rid of detail, and I just want it to be grainy grout. There. So now we have successfully made a tileable texture. Voila. And you see, that wasn't very hard. So there's a few things that you want to keep in mind with tileable textures. Make sure that they actually fucking tile. That's probably number one. Make sure that they repeat effectively. Have those seams invisible. Now, Substance Painter isn't made for this, but you can do this in Substance Painter. And that's pretty cool. Now we can see the same tile over and over again. But with something like this, how I would fix that, honestly, is say we're building the floor. I would build the floor in pieces, and then every once in a while I would rotate the floor. Say like there's one floor tile like this. There's a floor tile next to it. I just rotate it so it's like this. And it's still going to tile perfectly fine. Because even on the very edge, I got that grout line. And I have that grout line all the way through. On all the edges. So that's how you make a tileable texture in Substance Painter if you ever need to. But if you are looking for tutorials on making materials, you should look into Substance Designer, because that is a software made for making materials and tileable materials or trim sheets or whatever. And Substance Designer is its own beast. It is intense. I don't have it right now, and I don't really want it. I'll stick to this. So thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something. Bye-bye.